Tool selection is a popular topic amongst PDR trainees, particularly when there's hundreds of different tools to choose from. How do you know which tool to choose for which particular dent? So in this video today, I'm just going to go through my kind of thought process on what helps me, and hopefully it might help you too. Hi, I'm Tom with LPO, and when it comes to tool selection, there are really just two main things to consider: reach and leverage. So for me, it's not so much whether or not I'm using a door bar for a door or sort of opened areas, which tool I'm using. It's all about, can I reach the dent? And if I can, then can I get some leverage on it? So that hopefully kind of is just a real simple thought process or things to think about when you're trying to work out what tool to use. As my trainer said to me all those years ago, it doesn't matter what tool you use as long as you get the dent out. His example was using, I think just a thumb to kind of press a dent out was okay. And also I think another example was a broom handle, so just a stick effectively, which I have repaired a dent myself, or a few dents myself, with an actual broomstick handle. So just that half, just being a wooden handle, but it's got a nice domed edge to it. So taking out some very light dents in a roof panel without the roof lining, I was able to get in with a broom handle and just gently push them out. Now it's literally a stick of wood, as opposed to anything technical or anything related to PDR. But the point being, it was much more about what's going to let me get access to dent, so what's going to let me get my reach to the dent, and then what am I going to use for my leverage. So I was just repairing a small little dent on a rear quarter panel on this Peugeot, and it's just kind of I wanted to do just a couple of little examples to show what kind of different tools I can get through to get to the area that I want to work in. But that's my point for this video, is about reach and about leverage. So whether you're using extension bars on the end of your screw tips, or kind of door bars either at an angle or kind of coming back on themselves, or you can use leverage blocks, any kind of thing, S-hook and rings, hanger tools, to give you the various different leverage depending on the area that you're working on. But I just run through a couple of examples on this car that we've got here, just to kind of show you my thought process. So working on this rear quarter panel, using this bar. So this is just a fairly standard door bar. It's a hockey stick style bar, so it's just got that kind of curve, that shape to it. And this is a fairly short one, and this particular one is from BLE Tools. But this is a door bar, but it's not limited to being used on door panels only. So I quite often use these on pretty much every panel on a car where I can get accessibility. And what I like about it is where it has that hockey stick, it's kind of like that double bend bars that you can get. So if I'm coming in through the hole, sort of fixing or locator hole for the lamp, I can come in and kind of reach a certain areas of the panel like this, or coming in from the other way, again coming through that hole, I can then reach the bottom half of the panel as well. But what I like about these particular kind of tools is once you're in there, you've got that big arm to give you plenty of leverage or reach, getting behind damage as well. And on open areas where you can, so this has got kind of reinforcers on the inside, but also rather than just having it as a bar that you can twist with, you can come straight into like that and just lever with that kind of edge straight into the backside of the dent as well. So it's about reach. What's going to be the right tool to get in to reach the dent that I'm trying to work on? How can I get to it? And then can I also get leverage? So with a bit of a twist, can I get to the dent I want to take out? And whether that's coming in through a locator hole here, or the main sort of wiring loom hole, and sometimes depending on what model it is, from going underneath, so coming up from the bottom, leaning against the tyre and getting some leverage off the tyre to get in there. So having screw tip bars really opens up your options in terms of all the different tips, turns it into a multi-purpose tool. And one tip that's particularly popular is the Dentcraft R4 with the little red cherry caps on the end. So when you can get these behind dents, you make very quick work of removing damage. Now, using my example of the hockey stick bar, obviously this particular one, there's not a screw tip, so one of the ways to kind of really maximize this tool to be able to give you that same reach and leverage that this tool can give me, but I don't have a screw tip on the end, is by just applying a little bit of tape around there. And what's good about that as well with the tape, you can change how much of a damper you create on the tool by how many layers of tape you have. So certainly if I'm starting off and I want quite a soft tip, I'll put a lot of layers of tape around the end, and it gives me that kind of damper between the metal tool tip and the metal panel. And then as I start to reduce that dent, I can start to remove some layers of tape so it's thinner, and that will then change the kind of surface contact or pressure that I'm putting on that panel as well. So even though this isn't a screw tip bar, I'm able to kind of change the sharpness of the tip and change the damper by just kind of changing the layers or the different amounts of tape on there. And another thing that I think is really going to help you understand which tool is the correct tool for the job is understanding your access points. So I did a very kind of basic 5-part video series here on YouTube about access points, just running through some different examples across different panels. But as we take a look on this same Peugeot, I'll go through a couple of different points that we've got to get different tools behind to give us the right access to particular areas on that panel. So let's take a look. So taking a look at this front wheel arch panel, again still on this Peugeot. If we had a dent, for example, around here, there would be a couple of different ways to access it. The very first thing I do on a front wing dent is open up the bonnet and check what access we have to the area inside. So on this particular model, it's nice and open. I can get a tool in through here, or I can get a tool in through here. And it's a big wide gap, so I've really got a wide range of tools I can use, whether it be one of my kind of door hockey stick bars, or I could even get my full double bend screw tip tool in there and kind of give me different options for the tips to reach any of this area. So on this particular model, it's nice and open, which is great. If it wasn't, then my next option would be to come in underneath. So under here you have your plastic wheel arch liner, and usually a couple of clips and screws. Drop that down, and then you can come in to, again, lever off the wheel, get behind whichever point it is you're trying to reach with the right tool. So understanding your access points is also going to really help you in terms of your tool selection. So understanding those kind of access points is really going to help with your tool selection. So with a nice bar like this with a double bend and my screw tip on the end, I'm able to come in through one of these holes, get plenty of reach, plenty of leverage as well. And it's worth noting, if you are working around these kind of edges, they can be a bit sharp, so one, to look after yourself, but two, if you're coming anywhere near the headlamp, it's always good to put something over the headlamp, cloth, tape or leverage block, just to make sure you protect those kind of plastic lugs and certainly not levering off the headlamp itself. So there's one option to come in with that sort of bar from the top or from the underside, and then also with my hockey stick bar I can do the same. I can get in through there, and that's going to give me reach to most different places around that kind of wing. Again, through here I can get down to this kind of front section, or if I needed to come from underneath, by reducing this kind of wheel arch liner, getting my tool and rod, being able to lever off the tyre, I can get to here. So as I say, it's about reach and it's about accessibility or leverage, but also just checking you can get access to the damage as well. So my main 2 points when it comes to tool selection are about what reach and leverage, but it's also good to know your access points. So every time you're working with a vehicle, just having a look around, lifting up the bonnet, opening up the doors, checking behind kind of lamps, and just seeing where potentially there could be access, either coming in from underneath or from the top of certain panels from behind, because where you can fit a tool is going to help kind of narrow down your selection of which tools you can use, and then it's about your reach and your leverage. So really hope that video kind of helps at least kind of explain my own viewpoint on what I'm looking for when it comes to tool selection. And if you're just starting off and you've got hundreds of different tools laid out in front of you and you don't know where to start, One, you can get in contact, just leave your comments below and ask any questions you want. But two, just bear that in mind when it comes to reach, leverage, and also which kind of access points or accessibility you can get your tool in to be able to get behind that damage as well. So I'm Tom with LPO. Thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't already, you can subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with every video release we do. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed the video, you can give us the thumbs up and sort of like the video as well. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching.